People dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but they dramatically underestimate what they can accomplish in 1 decade. Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible. If you like the idea of a casual yet meaningful chat about the Bible with a couple of mates, listen in. Something here could be good for you today.
Today is day 181, covering Psalms 86, 87, 88, and 89. If you need a brief overview of those chapters, they're in the description.
My mother would tell you off for saying 86,
88,
87, 88, and 89, but I don't care, so good on you.
Good. I'm glad you don't care, because this is my voice and I ain't changing it for no one.
Yeah, boy. Just heads up, I forgot to hit start on the stopwatch, so I might need you to let me know if we're running out of time. I've started it now, but I'm only 5 seconds, and I think that's true.
45 seconds, just so you know. Smashing,
so about 40-ish. All right, well, Psalm 86, verse 7. I'm first up again today. When I'm in distress, I call to you because you answer me. A bit like we finished off yesterday with he promises peace. He does answer us. When we call in distress, he answers, basically, in it. 86 verse 7, when I'm in distress, I call to you because you answer me. Are we listening properly? That's the thing. He answers, are we actually listening? And are we just listening for what we want the answer to be? Like, we open his mouth, does he put what we want in it? Or, one of that.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And kind of, you were saying the other day about having a prayer diary or a prayer journal, that sort of thing. I think that helps you to hear that he answers, right? Because you can go back and be like, wow, one person that I know who does the prayer journal thing, and I'd like to get into this and start doing it myself, said that looking back over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, sort of 80 to 90% of the prayers that they put in there have been answered in that longer run. Wow. Which is incredible if you think about it. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for 86 for me, I got a couple of things. Teach me your way, Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart that I may fear your name. We're in a world, that's 86 verse 11. We're in a world which is constantly trying to divide our hearts, constantly trying to divide and take our attention as well. We're in a world now where, everyone's constantly on their phones and their screens and stuff. And if a video is more than freaking 15 to 20 seconds long now, you're skipping to the next thing or whatever, are constantly divided. But just remember that we're at war in that sense, and we must not divide our heart to God. And that must always be the answer. And then 86:14, arrogant foes are attacking me. Ruthless people are trying to kill me. They have no regard for you. And it just reminded me of, because obviously I was sort of an atheist agnostic before being a Christian. And some of the most heat and hatred for God paradoxically comes from atheists. One of my favorite apologists is this dude called Frank Turek. And he had a lot of debates with this very famous atheist called Christopher Hitchens. And Frank Turek said, Christopher Hitchens is an interesting bloke because his whole thing is God doesn't exist and I hate him.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny how atheists are so insistent on trying to get rid of religion, because if religion isn't real, then why spend all your effort trying to get rid of it? Because just ignore it then and live your own life, right? So just be aware of that. The godless are often the most ruthless in this world. Scary.
Very true.
Bad.
Very true.
That's that.
Neither of us have a point on Psalm 87. It's only 7 verses. The sons of Korah, a song. So if you have any points, any thoughts, drop us a comment, drop us a message. Psalm 88:13, but I cry to you for help, Lord. In the morning, my prayer comes before you. Why, Lord, do you reject me and hide your face from me? This is a bit of a throwback to actually when we were chatting in Psalm 86, verse 7. When I'm in distress, I call to you because you answer me.
Right.
And then in 88:14, why do you reject me and hide your face from me? Well, we don't. He answers us. It's two different people writing that, but it's nice to see it in such close proximity to one another. And then just crying out to God in hardship was that first point. I cry to you, Lord. We should cry to him in hardship because,
Yeah. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable with God at any time.
True.
Psalm 88, verse 8, all the eights. You have taken from me my closest friends and have made me repulsive to them. I am confined and cannot escape. And this to me just had a lot of Job vibes. It sounded a lot like Job. You know, he's arguing with his friends. He feels like they're betraying him and all that stuff. And it's just, again, this thing that God doesn't punish us, but God does discipline us. So if there are people in your life that are toxic and not good, you should pray for them. But that doesn't mean that God might not try and make moves to take them out of your life. I know that since I've become a Christian, that has definitely been the case with a few friends and influences and things like that, to sort of still love them, but distance myself from them to some extent because they no longer have similar values to me or lead a life that's similar to the life I want to lead.
It's very true, man. It's a wise thing to do. It's a difficult thing to do, but it's a wise thing to do. I've had to do it a few times throughout my life, and I've always been better off for it, even though it hurts in the meantime. So good on you, dude.
100%.
Do you want to crack on to verse
89? Yeah, better bloody had, I guess. So Psalm 89, verse 7. In the council of the holy ones, God is greatly feared. He is more awesome than all who surround him. And I was like, this is kind of an obvious point, but of course God is greater than the greatest creations, because how could even the greatest creation beat the creator of the greatest creation, right?
Yeah.
It's like an impossibility, right? I like the idea of God just flexing. It's like, you know, there's all these angels and amazing creatures. They're like, look at me, God, look at what I can do.
Yeah.
And then God just is like, I made you.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the end of any argument.
I love it. Although I am thinking Michelangelo's David is probably a far more impressive looking thing than Michelangelo. But
that's true.
God is bigger and better, so he wins.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then 89 verse 29, I will establish his line forever, his throne as long as the heavens endure. But it wasn't just that bit, it was 89 from like verse 8 or 9 down. This was again another great synopsis of David's story. So I encourage you to go and read that. And obviously the line of David being forever, that is fulfilled through Jesus.
True. That's cool, man. The thing with doing all of one psalm each when we're going through this, and we have a friggin' long psalm like this, we end up chatting for a long time each, but whatever. So back to Psalm 89, verse 1. I will sing of the Lord's great love forever through all generations. This is written by a dude called Ethan, the Ezrahite. And when he wrote this, he probably didn't realize the magnitude of what he was writing and the weight of what he was writing. Like, this was going to appear in the greatest religious text of all history. And here it is for all generations. And the same can be true for us as well. I think so often we overlook at what we're capable of. I heard a really great little video the other day, and it was a dude, no idea who he was. It was a random Insta video. And he was talking to a suicidal gentleman. And he was basically saying people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but they dramatically underestimate what they can accomplish in 1 decade. And I think that has such weight to it because we think everything has to be accomplished in our little short time frame that we put it on. Whereas actually, if we just take slow bite-sized chunks, it's the whole become 1% better every day type of vibe. Actually, we can accomplish and achieve so much if we actually just take a step back and focus on the bigger picture. Like, what we can do can be made known through all generations, but we have to take it one step at a time. Usain Bolt said he trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds. Like, people give up after 2 months of not seeing results. And it's so true on all that side, really.
Dude, that's good.
Thanks, bro. 89:10, you crushed Rahab like one of the slain. I just wrote, huh? Because I thought Rahab was good. She was a prostitute that saved the spies. So, like, what? Yeah,
not sure about that. Above pay grades.
All right, while you're looking that up quickly then. My last point in here was 89 verse 30. If his sons forsake my law and do not follow my statutes, I will punish their sin with the rod, but I will not take my love from him, nor will I ever betray my faithfulness. And it's like you were saying, man, there are consequences to our actions and our sins, but it never changes who God is and who his love is for us and how he sees us.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look at this. It said Rahab is often taken as a personification of proud and strong Egypt. It may be true in this context, yet there is also a fascinating connection to the Canaanite mythology of that time, transforming and using that connection to glorify God as in the incomparable one. So it's sort of crushing the proud. Anyway, we're massively overrunning. So,
well, tomorrow's reading is 90 to 95. Read it.
Yeah, and please join us on social media at 2 Bits in the Bible and spread this if you liked it to help spread the word of God.